pirates.
Hey, Terry, hold on, Hotshot. Here we go. Can't let Chops know we're stuck here in Linpo with this radio busted.
Air Cathay to Flight Lee. Air Cathay to Flight Lee. Come in, Flight Lee. Ah, the Honorable Jake Warwick. Greetings, chum. How's business at the Blue Dragon?
Hasn't that plane from Canton called in yet? I've been waiting in my car the past 30 minutes.
Cannot be far from Tansen. Last report received as they were approaching Linpo. Only half hour's flight from here.
How long ago?
Couple hours. You expecting someone?
The shipment of champagne from Canton. I'm hoping it's on this flight, if it ever arrives.
Oh, sure. They must have stopped at Linpo. Engine repairs, probably.
I'll hang around a while, out by the runway.
Air Cathay to Flight Lee. Air Cathay to Flight Lee. Come in, Terry.
Hey, Charlie, where's your next flight going out?
Destination, please?
The States. You got something going out soon?
So sorry. All Trans-Pacific flights grounded on account of not enough planes. How about something a little closer, say Yokohama or Manila?
When's the first flight out?
Flight to Hong Kong tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Oh, maybe next day.
How you doing? Got the short fixed?
Yeah, how about the radio?
Good old hotshot boy genius has done it again.
Let's get going. Drag up the ladder.
Aye, aye. Aye, 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 aye.
Well, I declare, you boys aren't Chinese at all. I hope y'all don't mind my barging in like this.
Mind?
Well, fan my brow and hand me a mint julep.
They told me in town there was a plane down for repairs, and I thought maybe if y'all had room.
Oh, plenty of room, but we're just going as far as Tansen.
Well, Tansan will be just fine. I'm Georgia Pettigrew.
Charles C. Charles, man. Terrence Lee, noted airplane driver.
But what are you doing in Linpo? There isn't a railroad through here.
You're telling me I've been stranded here for over 24 hours.
Oh, what happened?
Well, the boat I got on at Canton, it just up and left me.
Boat? What boat?
Oh, a rusty old steamer called the Mandarin. And the mate said last night when we docked we'd be there at least a whole hour in Linpo. And I swear, when I got back and I hadn't been gone over 20 minutes, the thing had just up and gone. Poor little me. But I want to tell you now, I just broke right down and cried.
Oh, now you just dry your tears, honey child. We'll have you back in Tansen in 20 minutes flat. Courtesy Air Cathay.
Okay, Chaz, turn them over.
Okay.
Tea?
Flight Lee calling Air Cathay. Come in, Air Cathay.
Air Cathay to Flight Lee. I thought you jokers had cashed in. Where are you, Terry?
Approaching for a landing.
Oh, shucks, honey. I know I can land this little old plane.
Terry, who's that? What's going on?
But, honey lamb, I want to land it myself.
Oh, no, Terry, please. Not a dame. Remember the crate. Air Cathay to Flight Lee. Air Cathay to Flight Lee. Come in, Flight Lee. Some days I've got a good mind to give up this business and go straight.
Listen, I want to charter that plane, you understand? I got to get out of here tonight.
Okay, pal. If you can pay for it, you can have the flagship.
How soon?
As soon as I get it gassed up. Send the gendarmes to Air Cafe. Call out the riot squad. Quick! Now that you got the body out of here, I can breathe again.
According to his papers, Ed Norton was the mate of the coastal freighter Mandarin. I ask you again, Mr. Vorick, did you know this man?
I've told you no. Now, what are you getting at, Lieutenant?
Merely that where murder and violence are, there also is Mr. Vorick. Sometime, perhaps, we will prove that this is no coincidence.
I had nothing to do with this. Chopstick Joe will bear me out.
He was outside when it happened. Shot came from over there.
You had better look to your own defenses, Chopstick. I do not put this beyond you either.
Me? You're kidding. Oh, that must be my flyboys now.
This is the only bag he had?
There.
An interesting item for a ship's officer to be taking on a trip. He wanted passage to the United States?
He must have had good reason for wanting to leave the country. But why that stuff? That's strictly tourist bait.
Now, if you have no objection, Lieutenant, I'll leave now.
At the moment, you're at liberty. You will, however, be available for further questioning.
You come in on the Canton flight? Where's my Romeos?
I declare you've got the darlingest flies in the world. I'm so crazy about him, I just can't tell you.
Lieutenant, all right if I go talk to my flyboys? Corn phone is too much for me.
Please do not be gone long or go far.
Why, I declare. Why, that's my little old Cupid doll. Yes, it is. Why, what in the world's it doing here?
You are certain of this? You can identify it?
Why, of course I can. My initials are on the bottom of it. G.P., Georgia Pettigrew. You have to have your name on things when you travel with the show. But what in the world's it doing here? It was in my trunk aboard the Mandarin. Well, I declare, I just can't imagine what it's doing here.
Do you have any idea why the mate, Mr. Norton, stole it from you?
Mr. Norton? Are you sure of that? Why, the idea of taking a girl's things. Why, if I ever see that nasty old man again,
That will be quite impossible. Mr. Norton was shot to death in this office less than half an hour ago.
And he stole my little old Cupid doll? But why? It isn't worth anything.
I know. This statue is of little value.
Well, really, mister, that's mine. Aren't you going to give it back to me?
You are staying in Tansan for a while?
Well, I may work in one of the entertainment places here. I sing and dance, you know.
I'm sure. Perhaps then, Miss Pettigrew, I may drive you into town?
Why, that would be right sweet of you, Lieutenant, but don't you think I could have my little old Cupid doll now?
Perhaps tomorrow, Miss Pettigrew, after I have established what it is that makes it so interesting to so many people.
While we're yachting here, I'll bet the babe leaves.
You and your cheesecake. A noose is around my throat. All he thinks about is dames.
Yeah, where are your finer feelings, Chaz?
In there with Miss Dixieland of 1952.
How do you like that? She's gone. Just because Chops is up for a murder rap, we had to go and lose the little lovely.
Go ahead. Rip me, you little peacock. The lieutenant's trying to pin this on me. Do you care? No.
Oh, relax, Chops. You know you're in the clear. That's the main thing.
Lots of guys have said that just before the jury brought in the wrong verdict.
Oh, well, as long as there's no romance in sight. What do you say we hit the sack? That's a good idea. No use all of us staying up worrying. Take care of yourself, Chops.
Pleasant dreams.
And the condemned man ate a hearty breakfast. Well, I'm here, Lieutenant, against my better judgment.
I did not send for you, Captain Lee.
Oh, I brought him along. It's a bum rap. I won't be third degreed.
I'm what you might call an observer, Lieutenant.
Experience has taught us that the guilty one makes the most noise about his innocence.
Experience, Lieutenant, is also a word police use for mistake.
Who killed Mr. Norton?
Not having crystal ball in good working order, nor hindsight, nor foresight, I do not know.
Well, it's pretty obvious Chopstick didn't do it, isn't it, Lieutenant? No gun found, no motive.
An observer is privileged to be silent only. With Chopstick, one looks for the devious, not the obvious.
But I didn't do it. But tell him, Terry.
Answer my questions as they're put to you.
You see what I mean? He'll talk me into it.
Answer my questions. Who killed Mr. Norton? Miss Pettigrew, Mr. Vorick, I mean to come to the point.
I vow I just don't know what this man's talking about.
Miss Pettigrew, you boarded the Mandarin at Canton?
I told you that.
About the same time you were in Canton, the Canton State Museum was robbed of some very valuable antiques.
Are you accusing me?
It was the mate from Mr. Norton who stole this idol from you.
Well, goodness, I just don't know what to say.
Mr. Vorick, you said you were at the airfield to pick up a shipment of goods. Why didn't you?
I chose not to.
Could it have been that you were expecting Miss Pettigrew?
I'd never seen her before in my life.
Yet you engaged her to sing in your nightclub, the Blue Dragon?
I booked her through an agent. I buy a lot of talent without seeing 10-foot portraits of them.
I see. Send the captain in.
Well, I know that man. He's the captain of the Mandarin. Imagine leaving a girl stranded in a little old dirty town like that.
Well, miss, I didn't know you wasn't aboard until we were 4 hours out.
Have you ever seen this before?
Can't say I have.
Your mate, Mr. Norton, stole this from Miss Pettigrew's baggage. Would you know why?
Nope. Or why he jumped ship either. Signed him on at Canton. Papers seemed in order.
At Canton?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. You never saw Norton before you got on board the ship?
Of course not. The American consul's going to hear about the abuse I'm taking, Mr. Leong.
Don't you think this has gone far enough? There's no reason for me to stay, is there?
Not at the moment, Mr. Vorick, but soon, I hope.
You be needing me, Lieutenant?
Not right now.
And me?
You too. But don't any of you leave Tan San unless you receive permission.
You're the most aggravating man I think I've ever met.
By the way, Miss Pettigrew, don't bother asking for your statue. It will be here yet, for some time, I'm afraid.
This is okay.
It was a lucky break. That plane was forced down in Limpo. You might still have been there.
Yeah, lucky for me, unlucky for Greg, that double-crossing pig. And that goon of his, Norton. After all the work I did, casing the museum, distracting the guards.
You don't have to worry about Norton anymore.
Just the same, I'd feel better if we had the idol here.
You're wrong, baby. It's in the safest place possible. Leong's office.
Won't it be something when Greg finds out I'm in on the play with you? He still thinks it's just you and him.
I had to tie it up to be sure. The triangle. You know. From me to you, me to Greg.
Three's a crowd, honey. He still thinks you know nothing about the idol?
What he thinks isn't going to matter for long. Yes?
Greg.
One moment. Come in.
Jake, you've got to get that Chinese idol out of the police station. Tonight.
The thing I saw at the station?
Yeah, that thing. We got to get it before Leong hands it over to that dame.
But why? It's a fake.
Yeah? Well, let me tell you something. That fake is worth more than the rest of the loot put together.
Can you imagine Georgia working for a clip artist like Vorick? If Chomp's any kind of a guy, he'd give her a job.
Doing what? I don't need a hostess to fly freight.
She could sew curtains for the windows, or she could dance for you.
Go on, beat it, both of you.
It's no use, Chaz. You know, I figured when he got off the hook with the lieutenant this afternoon, he'd be a nice, sweet, lovable guy.
Don't laugh, Terry. I was on the spot.
Why? You were innocent.
That's what made it so rough. I didn't know how to handle myself. Just the same, I'd trade this airline for that little idol on the lieutenant's desk.
You off your rocker? That's nothing but clay. Why is it worth so much dough?
If I knew the answer to that, I wouldn't be sitting here telling you two to go hit the sack. Go on, get some sleep.
And don't tell me you can't do it. I know how you operate.
Consider it done. Tell me, when you shot Norton, why didn't you take the idol from him?
That ape Chopstick Joe was in there. I don't know who else. I might have been recognized.
What about the girl who helped you and Norton pull the job, Georgia? Aren't you afraid she'll talk?
Not if she doesn't want to be sent up for a stretch herself. Remember, it's gotta be done tonight.
Of course.
I'll see you in the morning.
Police headquarters. Hello. Listen carefully. The Ming Bows, the first dynasty antiques stolen from the Canton State Museum, can be found aboard the steamer Mandarin, docked in Tanzan Harbor. Never mind who this is. They're hidden in Captain Gregg's sea chest inside his cabin.
Where Chops is. Hey, Chops, where are those cargo manifests? We want to get going.
Oh, he's probably guzzling a cup of tea in the privacy of his boudoir. Oh, those solitary drinkers.
Don't take off pronto. We'll never get back in time to see George's show.
Hey, I wonder if Georgia gave a performance last night. I hate to think we hit the sack too early and missed it.
Yeah, I wonder how long she figures on working for that continental creep.
Well, I hope long enough so we can talk Chops into giving her a job here at Air Cafe.
In the meantime, we better take the girl aside and talk to her about the facts of life in Tansan. Jake Vorick in particular. Blue Dragon's no place for a girl like Georgia.
No, sir. Her job is right here with Air Cafe, sir.
Greetings, chums. You come on the wings of the morning.
Yeah, and you're dragging your flaps. We want to get out of here.
Yeah, what's with this maintaining a schedule? Here we are bright and early. Where have you been?
How about a spot of orange pico?
No, thanks. What are you feeling so smug about?
7th cup of tea always makes me expand.
Yeah, all over the place.
We're all set to go, Chops. We want to get back early tonight. Want to see Georgia perform.
Oh, I have indirect regards from Scrumptious Doll.
Regards?
Give her the love messages.
Last night, the local gendarmes investigate the Mandarin tied up at dock. They find stolen loot from Canton Museum.
You don't mean that Georgia had something to do with it?
Captain Gregg, he had it stashed in his cabin. He took a flying leap over the side, but the gendarmes figure they plugged him.
Where does Georgia fit in?
Same source of information that told me about Captain Gregg tells me Georgia Peach arrested.
Come on, we better have a talk with the lieutenant.
One moment. You have flight to Hong Kong in 40 minutes. Don't forget. They forgot.
Your information from Chopstick was incorrect. Miss Pettigrew has been completely absolved. I gave her full freedom of movement. She was free to go as she pleased.
Well, where'd she go?
I did not ask. It was definitely established that her idol was not one of the objects stolen from Canton. I returned it to her.
Well, then why did Norton try to steal it?
Mistaken identity, perhaps. But, all things considered, we did very well. Only one article is still missing.
From the museum loot?
A black pearl necklace, once worn by a Manchu princess. And we will probably get that, too, when we find Gregg.
I thought he was out for keeps.
The grapevine is inaccurate. He escaped. I would not worry about the young lady, if I were you.
How come?
She seemed quite undisturbed when she left here. I might even say, happy.
Well, that's that.
She seemed to find great comfort in her escort.
Her escort?
Yes, Mr. Vorick.
With Gregg on the loose, I'm glad to be getting away.
The sooner the better.
And we've still got this.
no bill of lading. Maybe for once you can stay on schedule.
Old Hotshot can guarantee it, if maybe for once the engines don't fall apart. Here comes Beauty and the Beast.
Terry, honey lamb, you got 2 passengers.
Well, Georgia, we've been wondering what happened to you.
Oh, I see you've got old Fat Boy back.
Uh-huh, that sweet little old detective finally decided he didn't come from no museum, so he gave him back to me.
What time do you take off for Hong Kong?
What's in Hong Kong?
Well, Mr. Voigt, bless his little old sweetheart, is going to introduce me to the manager of one of Hong Kong's most exclusive nightclubs.
Tansan is no place for a girl of Miss Pettigrew's charm and ability. As a matter of fact, I may go into business there myself.
We better break this up. You have a flight in 2 minutes. 2 tickets to Hong Kong. Coming right up.
As soon as we sell the pearls, we can open our own nightclub in Hong Kong.
Any chance of Greg paying us a visit down there?
I think not. There's a $50,000 award for those pearls. American dollars.
That much?
20% of the estimated value. We should sell them for at least 50%. $125,000.
I tell you, Terry, there's something fishy about that replaying fairy godfather to that gorgeous doll.
Relax, Hotshot. It's her life she's living.
Getting her a better job, he says. You'd have to drink a keg of true serum and hit me over the head with a bung starter before I believe that.
I wonder where that thieving Captain Gregg is hiding. And what he's thinking about.
Forget it. You'll never see him again.
Take a good look.
It's Gregg! He's after me! He just killed Boy!
Give me that. I better get back to the stick. How did he get here?
How's he doing? Holy mackerel.
The black pearls packed inside the idol.
Georgia.
Well, I declare, I just don't know how in the world those... All right, hand him over. Come on, I mean business.
George, you lost your buttons?
Are you going to give them to me, or do I have to show you boys I can shoot as well as sing and dance?
Go on, give him to her. How far can she get with him?
You'd be surprised how far. In case you boys don't remember, I can fly as well as shoot. Put the ship on automatic pilot. Come on back. All right, get those parachutes on. I'll give you boys a break.
You mean you want us to...
Jump is the word. Now get your hands up, both of you. Go on, move. Oh, you're hurting me.
There are lots of talents, Georgia. But Georgette's isn't one of them.
You naughty, beautiful thing, you.
Keep an eye on him, Chaz. We're heading back for Tansan. Lieutenant.
For you, Mr. Lee, that image was the god of good fortune. A great reward is offered for the return of these pearls.
One moment. You two snag those on Air Cathay time. We split 3 ways, even Stephen.
Okay.
Do you think they were worth it?
Girl can try. Well, what are we waiting for?
Quiet, Hummingbird, quiet.
Chops is composing a literary masterpiece.
Joy Ken.
What did he say, Terry? Can you understand his dialect?
He said, see you again.
Oh, Pung Yao.
When illustrious friends
Tang Hop.
gather for
Tengu Jai.
Further exciting adventures of...
Further exciting adventures of Terry and the Pirates.
Be with us again the next time we take off with Terry and the Pirates in another exciting high-altitude adventure.